So I got another tree. Usually when I get new trees, I like smaller trees, and I can just kind of sneak them onto the bench, into the group somewhere, and they'll go unnoticed. I couldn't do that with this tree. It's a little long and spindly, and so I knew it would be noticed by my wife, and she thought for sure I dug this tree up in the forest because in her words it was the ugliest tree in the world, which I thought was kind of harsh. And I can see why she'd think that. It's quite long and spindly. But why did I get this long spindly pine? Well, it's because of the species. This is a bristlecone pine, and I love this species. As an undergrad, I did dendrochronology research and spent a long time coring trees at these high elevations where the trees are very old. I know one tree in particular, I counted all the rings and measured all the rings on it. It was 1,600, over 1,600 years old. It was a limber pine. Anyways, so I've just have this fascination with old trees, and bristlecone pine trees are some of the oldest trees in the world. In fact, the oldest tree in the world might very well be a bristlecone pine. It's a Great Basin bristlecone pine in California. It's called Methuselah, and it is 4,851 years old, or thereabout. And so there's two species of bristlecone in the western United States, and then to the east, more in Colorado and New Mexico, there's the Rocky Mountain bristlecone pine, and it doesn't apparently live to be as old, but the oldest individual known for that tree is 2,435 years old. So these pines live to be very old. They are found at very high elevations, just below the tree line. And I've seen some in Utah, as well as in Great Basin National Park. There is this really neat stand there that I just love. I've only been there twice, but I'd love to go again. And the trees are very old, very twisted and weathered, and are just fascinating to me. It's a place I love to be, and I just love to be among old trees. So that's why I bought this long spindly tree. So this tree, I didn't understand why it had such a strange growth habit. So when I bought it, I asked the owner of the nursery. It's just this local nursery where I also got my American hornbeam. Anyways, I asked her, what's going on with this tree? And it looked healthy. I've been eyeing this tree for 2 years, to be honest. There's like 10 of them, so I've been eyeing them, I should say. But she said she found it just at somebody's house. And there was this group of maybe 10 bristlecone pine trees just lined up against somebody's house in the shade, which if you know pines, you do not grow pines in the shade. So they're in the shade in these tiny pots, she said. In her words, she said, I rescued these trees. I think she did, because they're looking healthy now. But anyways, they were being grown in shade. So that's why this tree in particular is very long and spindly, just leggy. But this one in particular I picked up and decided to get finally, because I've been thinking about buying one for a couple of years now, because all the low branches on it. I think a tree can be built from those branches, and it has quite a few growing tips at the bottom there. And it looks quite healthy, really. It put on a lot of good growth this year. So I decided to go ahead before somebody, noticed these, because nobody, I think, has bought any of them, or maybe one or two has been bought over the last couple of years, but I don't think anybody's buying these trees. They've been sitting there. But I thought, I'd be really sad if somebody came and bought this tree in particular, because it has all these low branches. So my plan right now, and I'll be more specific, I'll get behind the camera here for a little bit, is to just snap this tree in half and build the tree from those lower branches, because as much as I think it's a fun-looking tree, it's a strange-looking tree, and I love the species. I do plan to kind of make it more aesthetically pleasing, so my wife no longer thinks it is the ugliest tree in the world. All right, so I am looking for some viewer feedback, if you so desire, and I think I know what I'm gonna do, but yeah, I thought I'd just throw it out there before I actually do it, because I want to do it maybe later in the fall. So here's the plan. It has all these shoots at the bottom here. And so my plan, I think, is to just take it right here and just give it a good snap. Just snap it. Break off this whole top part. Right now it's maybe 4 or 5 feet tall. And the reason why I want to do that, and you might say, well, maybe you should keep that for a sacrifice later, because that's what you often do with pines to thicken up the base, because it's not incredibly thick. But it's decent. It's developing some good bark. The reason why I think I didn't want to wait and I did buy the tree at this moment in time rather than just kind of let it sit at the nurseries. First, I didn't want somebody else to buy it. But second is you can see this top here is very, very healthy. And of course, all the growth is going to go here and is going here. So this is the new growth this year, I think, all this. So it's very healthy. What I'm afraid will happen, though, if I do not snap this top, is that the energy will continue to come here, and these little tiny branches here that I really want to use in the tree design, they'll just weaken and they won't grow. And so that's why I think I need to just snap it right now rather than let this go and continue to be a sacrifice leader. I think it's time so that I can keep these to snap it. And again, I'm thinking like right there. I'll keep maybe this little setup here of this whorl, but maybe snap it right there, including this long guy. And then I don't honestly have a clear design in mind except for just having the energy start go to these shoots. And I think it'll work well because there are so many growth tips on here, and these did grow this year. They are growing. So there's a lot of there is some energy going to these, but see, this one just barely grew, whereas on the top, all the energy of the tree is going here. So anyways, let me know what you think. That's the plan. Just snap it in half right here and build the tree from there. And I guess I should say it's in pretty dense potting soil, and so I think I'm going to snap it this fall, maybe in a month or two, and then in the spring, late spring, or maybe early spring, I don't know, sometime in the spring, I'm going to move it into a bonsai substrate. So that's my plan. Let me know what you think.